Run them jewels fast, run them jewels fast, run them, fuck the slow mo.
Hey, I'm James.
And I'm David, and this is Fighting Words Radio. If you like what you hear, please hit the subscribe button. If you don't like what you hear, hit the comments section. This week we're going to be talking about the upcoming fight between welterweight title holder Kell Brook and the best middleweight in the world, Gennady Golovkin. Triple G, Kell Brook. You excited, James?
Not really. I mean, the biggest, controversy about this fight is obviously the weight. Brook usually coming in around 146, jumping all the way up with a real middleweight. I don't really see it. I don't see him having a great chance in this one.
He's looking in great shape. He's looking cut and muscled up and like he's ready to fight against the middleweight. I don't know if he's going to be 160 for this fight. Maybe he's going to be a very muscular 155. Do you think he's going to make the adjustment to middleweight at all?
I think after this fight, after he loses and gets knocked out, he's going to go to super welter and just stay there.
Okay, but for this fight, do you think he's going to look good as a 160 pounder? You think he's going to look slow?
The thing about it for me is when you're making a jump, there's obviously some adjustment. And to do that against a guy who has been knocking out everybody who's been put in front of him, I think that combined is just too much of a task for Kell Brook.
You look at other guys that have made jumps against people in certain weight classes, and you have the school of like a Floyd Mayweather or a Manny Pacquiao where they didn't really add on too much extra weight from what they were good at.
Right.
Floyd is basically a welterweight, and he fought at 150, 151 versus Canelo. Manny Pacquiao, he was 142, 143, 144 in a lot of these fights when he was fighting at welterweight. Even when he fought Margarito, he wasn't a 154-pounder at all. But then you have Bernard Hopkins, who had been really starving himself, very disciplined at 160 for all those years, and he went with Mackie Shilstone to make his way up to 175. Kell Brook has had 2 months to basically go up and become a middleweight.
Yeah, I think that's crazy. I mean, hats off. You got to respect him for taking on that challenge. But I think Golovkin is just too much of a monster right now. I mean, there's not a physical advantage for Brook in this fight.
Speed?
With all the added weight, I don't know. One thing, all right, well, he might be talking or just saying that to promote the fight, but he did say that he was having trouble, and he felt like he was draining himself. I forgot the exact quote, but I think maybe a little that might come into play, and he'll feel, I guess, healthier.
Yep. You can hit a guy, but it doesn't mean that he's going to be able to hurt him. Triple G has taken punches from Curtis Stevens. He's taken, that flush punch from Daniel Geale. Not that Geale's a big puncher at 160, but he's still a 160-pound fighter.
And when you connect like that,
yeah.
I mean, that was right on the money.
But you don't necessarily need to have power if you have speed. You could always outbox a guy, or you could just keep on peppering a guy. De La Hoya said that he was never hurt by Pacquiao, but he was just being chopped down.
Bombarded.
Well, what can Brook do to impress you against Golovkin?
I'm more of the theory that when you're going up and you're fighting somebody bigger, you try to beat them with speed instead of bulking up.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that would have been his best game plan, come in as lean as he can for this fight and really, box. That's his only chance. I mean, I think Kell Brook has been down once in his career.
I don't know. I know that he was badly hurt versus Carson Jones and then ended up doing
it was somebody else.
Much better. But
he had his glove touched.
Okay.
So he's been down. And I think that was at 147.
Mm-hmm. We did see a smaller guy give Triple G trouble years ago when Kasim Uma fought him. And the thing that Abel Sanchez said was that, as bad a performance as Triple G had that night, and Triple G still won, it's because he had the flu. He had some flight problems. It's a different Triple G.
Jordan had the flu. Everybody gets a flu game excuse.
Yeah, well, if this podcast isn't good, it's because we got the flu too.
Oh, right.
You know, it's unfortunate that we had this fight. I understand exactly why we got this fight because it's sometimes a business decision affects a boxing decision. And some people were saying, couldn't they just reschedule this fight? Reschedule a date for Golovkin so that he could face somebody else. I don't know if it's really that easy because you need an arena. And they had an arena in the UK for what was supposed to be the Eubank fight. They had the money that was going to come from that. This fight makes more dollars than it makes sense, but because it's making the dollars, it's making sense.
I agree. Dang it, I had a point. I was just about to make.
It's okay. We're either going to cut this part or we're going to leave it in just so people know the growing pains we go through. At least this fight isn't on pay-per-view. And that's a big deal to me. We had Canelo Alvarez versus Amir Khan. What did you think of that mismatch as compared or contrasted with this one?
I think that Canelo Khan was the bigger mismatch.
Why?
Because Amir had already proved to us that he can be knocked out by smaller guys. What do you think is going to happen when he gets in there with a bigger guy?
I see that. You know, like in some ways, in my mind, Canelo versus Khan was worse because we knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, we had a pool of what round Khan would get knocked out.
Did you get the right round?
It was random slots. So.
I think people gave Khan too much credit in that fight because he was largely just staying away from Canelo and making him miss, and he landed a couple punches. Just because a fighter does better than you thought was going to happen doesn't mean that he wins the rounds. We knew what was going to happen because Khan got knocked out at 135. He got knocked out at 140. And while he'd been doing better at 147, you know, he'd beaten Devin Alexander. He got caught a lot, though, by Chris Algieri.
Yeah, Algieri stung him a little bit.
Yeah, he did.
But he's not even, known for power hit.
So we knew that Khan would need to fight the perfect fight in order to beat Canelo, and that just wasn't going to happen because he has these lapses in discipline. So in some ways that was the worst mismatch, but it was still, while Canelo was the middleweight champion, a 155-pounder versus a 147-pounder. Right now with Brook versus Golovkin, we've got a 147-pounder versus a 160-pounder. So on paper, it's more of a mismatch, but by the chin, you're saying it's not as much of a mismatch.
Yeah, I have to go with that. And that's only because Khan has repeatedly been, even back when he fought Maidana, like he's completely sold us that, at some point in this fight, he's going to get wobbled. And it's hard to look past that.
The thing with Amir Khan is he is like a tree that is on its last chop. He's about to be timbered at any moment if you hit him just right. With Kell Brook, even against a guy like Gennady Golovkin, you either need to hit him with the perfect chop or you need to chop him a bunch of times. Maybe at 147. With Golovkin's power, I think Golovkin is like the Paul Bunyan of the middleweight division.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's only a matter of time. Because Golovkin, he places his punches pretty well too.
Mm-hmm.
And, with that, how good he is at boxing instead of just being isolated power puncher, I think he finds Brook pretty easy.
Is this a lose-lose scenario for Golovkin in your mind? The fact that if he beats Brook easily, it doesn't do him any good, and if he doesn't beat Brook easily, it doesn't do him any good? Or is there a little out that if he beats Brook easily, it doesn't matter because at least he won?
If he handles Brook in 8, I don't think that lowers his status in any way.
I can make one prediction. It's not going to be the round in which Brook goes out. The prediction is that Twitter is going to have a hissy fit. All the people who hate Golovkin are going to say, look, he's exposed the moment that Brook lands 1 or 2 clean shots because Golovkin allows him to.
I didn't even think about that yet. That is definitely going to happen. It's a fight. Both guys get hit. Like, what do you expect? People overthink every everything, especially on Twitter. But
Speaking of which, you can follow James at
God Ham God. That's GODHAMGOD.
two of my favorite things in the world: God and ham. And I'm at Fighting Words too. But you were saying,
Yeah, I expect Golovkin to get hit as well. Obviously, Kell Brook, he's taking this fight very seriously. I think he's going to come in ready. I just don't think he's equipped for the task. So I expect him. Matter of fact, this is a good question. Do you expect him to do better than Khan did versus Canelo?
I So I don't think that Khan did that well against Canelo. I think he did well enough to not get hit for a while. I think Brook will put up a fight or at least stick to a strategy for as long as he can, and it won't be a survival strategy. Khan landed those 2 punches early on versus Canelo and then just try to stay away and land 1 or 2 punches and win rounds. I think Brook is going to try to do more than that. And I think this is a very ballsy move by Brook, by the way. All the stuff that we're saying about not being excited about this fight or the fact that Golovkin's going to win is not to Brook's detriment. We're not tearing him down. I think he's a very good 147-pound fighter. I'm bummed that he probably won't go back to 147 to defend against Errol Spence. But I think this is a ballsy move that he took on 2 months' notice. It would have been interesting to see how he'd do going up to 154 or on 160 with enough time to do it properly.
Right. I agree. Did you catch the sparring video?
I did not.
With him and Liam Smith.
What did you think about Kell Brook and Liam Smith?
Kell Brook backed up a lot in the video.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, it's only a sparring video. But I did say that if he fights Golovkin that way, is definite. He also traded a lot. It wasn't like he was trying to, pepper punches, use a jab and move a lot. He was willing to trade, and if he goes into this Golovkin fight willing to trade, it's not going to look end well for him.
The good thing, people love watching Triple G no matter what. I hope this doesn't ruin Kell Brook's career too much, just because I'm happy to have him back ever since he got attacked and injured the other year. I want to see how he does, whether it's at 147 or 154. And the other good thing about it is that it's not the only fight of note that night. HBO will be doing the evening airing of the Triple G fight, and then later that night we're going to see Chocolatito, Roman Gonzalez, go for a world title in a 4th weight class versus Carlos Cuadras. Undercard, we got the rematch of a fantastic fight we had earlier in the year between Jesus Sotocross and Yoshihiro Kamagai. So even if you hate Kell Brook versus Triple G,
it's going to be some good entertainment.
Yeah, and hopefully you have some good entertainment with us as well. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button. If you don't like what you hear, don't feed us to Triple G. Just hit the comment section instead. Thank you much. We'll see you all next time.
All right.